great. I mean, obviously after the success of last year, it was a no-brainer. Um, I haven't probably hasn't really a day gone by where I haven't thought about that game, that final game. So, yeah, really excited to be back on board, and really excited to see all the lads and all the coaches. Yeah, well, I obviously saw a lot of the footage in the little snippets that was up on Instagram following the game. But I didn't really watch the over back or even the last few overs before that, and literally until really recently, it just coincidentally popped up on YouTube, and I couldn't watch. It was yeah, probably more stressful watching than it was in the moment. I think yeah. So I feel for all the people that were there watching, and all and all the staff who were up in the change room celebrating, and then having to watch us do it all over again. So um, yeah, just thankful we came out on the right side in the end. Could have been a very, very different story otherwise, but yeah, obviously a crazy moment, and one not many of us will forget soon. I don't reckon. I don't know if I couldn't tell you. I think I do remember him getting us all in. He got us all in basically, so we're all on the same page in terms of we knew what was happening, we knew how many they need to win, and what was required. Um, Purely, I remember that because I remember just wanting to get it over with. I wanted to get it to the top of my mark, and I wanted to bowl again, and I wanted to get it done. And it was sort of like, come on. Um, but in hindsight, and even at the time, I thought this is good. This is good because there's so many times in games where you have people, potentially not in the right position or not getting to the stumps, all that sort of thing. But I don't think he really said anything to me specifically. Just sort of asked if I was clear, and I said, "Yep." But yeah, looking back, that moment where he got everyone in together, even if it was um, subconsciously just to let you take an extra breath, I think that was just another reason why he's one of the great captains. Probably one of the bigger learning curves in terms of tournament cricket for me. I'm still relatively new to tournament cricket around the world, and I think the best um, learnings is around we lost the first four games, I think it was, and at that point, you're laying in bed after a game going, when's the first one coming? Is the first one coming? There was a time there where I was thinking, gee, 14 losses could be a tough plane ride home, but just how quickly it can turn, and it did. And then once you get the momentum, it's sort of one of those things they sort of say, winning is a habit, and it sort of definitely. And I felt like losing was a habit at first as well. You sort of get in positions where maybe you're not high on confidence, and you lose games you probably shouldn't, or you don't ice games the way you should. And conversely, when you're winning and you're on a high and everyone's up and about, you just get games done. You win the games you're supposed to, and you also win the games that you mightn't be favourites to at different stages. So that was my biggest learning, and something I've taken back to the cricket I've played since is how quickly it can change, and you're never going as good as you think you're going, but you're also never sort of going as bad as you think you're going. Super, super easy. We spoke to Giles, as he said. We both sorry, both Ben and I hung around for the 100 last year, and basically we were talking then, and we were both sure we wanted to get back, and we're trying to make it work. And super easy decision to come back. Have spoken to some of the guys since, and 80, the coach, and just, yeah, as I said, it was a no-brainer. And we were treated, not only the cricket side of things on the field, but we were treated so well off the field and looked after. And yeah, so super happy to be going back myself, and also super happy to be going back with Ben as well. The first thing I think of is Josie's, the cafe in Bishop's Waltham. I feel like me and Ben lived there. We probably should have a plaque there for us. So I'll be getting back there as soon as I can to get the fried chicken wrap. I reckon that's one of the main things for me. But for me, I look back on our season, and I refer a lot of times back to the speeches after the games, where if it wasn't going great, or if it was, and even before the game, where we had 80 giving his inspirational speeches, which I always felt like just hit the mark and always got me up and about, whether it was after a loss or before a game. He just sort of always made you feel 10 foot tall and bulletproof. So that's, yeah, one thing I look back on really fondly, and something I'm really excited to experience again. Yeah, it was brilliant. It was interesting having your home grounds as also your backyard where I was living. So you sort of pull the curtains. You wake up the day of a game, and you've got 8 hours to kill, but I couldn't see the grounds when preparing the wicket and putting the stumps in. So I found that really interesting, and also, don't have to drive home, so you can enjoy a few drinks after the game, which is handy. But yeah, love it. It's a great ground. Um, good for both. Good for both batting and bowling, I reckon. So um, yeah, excited to get back. Um, the Edgbaston one was a funny one. Like I'd say the figures, you know, would suggest I had a great game, but I don't necessarily. I feel like the rest of the bowling attack did so well, and I sort of just came in and stole a few. But the one for me, I think, as a collective group, and I was really happy with, was the Taunton game. We defended on a really good wicket on a really small ground. We defended, can't remember what it was, 200 or something. Where various stages it looked like they were going to get it done pretty easy. And I think as a bowling group, we bowled really, really smartly and really, really well. And personally, I get the job to do it at the end and sort of just to ice it off. So that's one I look back on quite regularly, in terms of sort of plans and the scores or the statistics might not necessarily show you on certain days that you bowled well, but that's one that I know I felt really good, and as a bowling group we had a good night. Yeah, there's a few. I really want to try and beat Surrey. They got us a couple of times, and we had a couple of close games with them, and they're obviously a really, really strong side. Throughout the tournament, even with players going in and out, they're always really strong and always have really good overseas. So when we played at the Oval, it was a really cool crowd as well, and that was a cool experience. So hopefully we get the chance again and we can come out on top. But outside of that, I'm just keen to get back with the lads and don the shirt again and sing the song.